up, everybody? Just headed back. Just had a little family meeting get together earlier today, and I decided to make a video on the way back. Hopefully, I did a video earlier, so hopefully I'll post that up. We'll see. I gotta see how it turned out. Hopefully it came out pretty good, and we'll see how that goes. But just decided to make a video. I don't know what to really, I don't know if I should get into the topic of why I picked the Evo, or because I'm about to be at the house, so I don't want to, like, I don't know, fuck it, let's do it. Why I chose the Evo over the STI. That's what it came down to. It came down to Evo and STI. After being through so many cars, you know, I wanted an all-wheel drive this time, so it came down to an STI and an Evo, used of course. And like I said, I got this Evo over a year ago, so it was a previous gen STI. I was looking between 2011 and 2013, 2014. Same with the Evo. So I went, test drove both of them, right? Before you buy a car, before you decide, you know, base it on solely on looks and whatever, you gotta drive the car. You gotta see how it feels, how the steering wheel feels, how everything feels, the suspension, how the power delivery. You gotta make sure everything is intact, like to your liking. You know, this is a video. It's not about which car is better. People are gonna argue about it every day. What's better? Everyone has their own fucking opinion. Everybody does. Just like with Xbox and PlayStation, it's hard, it's almost impossible to convince an Xbox fanboy or a PS4 fanboy which one's better. They both are good, man. You know, everyone's gonna complain, bitch and complain, bitch and complain, whatever. STI, Evo, I'm not here to do all that. This is why I chose the Evo over an STI. First comes down, when you look at a car, looks. Which one looks better? In my opinion, my honest opinion, I like the look of an STI. I like that previous gen. New gen, to me, they seem like, to me, when I see a new gen, it looks okay. It seemed like they kind of failed at trying to copy the look of the Evo in the front. And the back, to me, for some reason, looks like a Corolla or a Accord, or a Corolla, or something along those lines. It doesn't look aggressive to me. The overall style of the car is okay, the new one. Well, I'm talking about the old one here. The old one looks awesome. I love the way it looks, man. Love it, love it, love it. Me, in my opinion, I think it looks better than the Evo. That doesn't mean that the Evo looks bad. I just think the STI looks a lot better. And I love the way the sedan looks. I know everyone likes the hatchback STI, but I'm not a big hatchback fan. I'm not gonna get a hatchback. I'll get a Civic hatch and do a K20 swap or something like that. But love the way the STI look. Then when it comes down to you sit in the car, interior, to me, buying a car of a caliber of an STI Evo, I'm not in it for the luxury. I'm in it for how it feels, how it drives, how the steering wheel feels. I don't need fancy gadgets in the center console. I don't need all that. I need a basic radio, good enough, you know, to display, you know, the layout's good, easy, none too complicated, and the HVAC controls, easy. So both of them, okay, you know, they're both okay. So whatever, none of them beat the other. So it came down to start them up both, and I drove it. And both of them, power delivery is different. They both have similar power. STIs have a little bit more horsepower. I'm not sure about the torque. I think they're very, very close, but I know definitely the STIs have more horsepower than the Evos. Evos were 291. STI, I believe it was 300. Could be wrong, got to double check it. And power delivery. Honestly, when I drove the STI, I felt like it pulled to me. When I first drove the Evo, this was just my first reaction. First drove the Evo, maybe I was expecting too much of the Evo. It pulled well, but when I drove the STI, I was like, oh, this thing, I like the way it pulls. Loved it. So, but, you know, that could just come down to, you know, everything is, you know, the gearing of a car, like I said, the power delivery when it comes on, whatever. So both power delivery, whatever, you know, both are similar. So I was like, okay, you know, both, they looked at the sheets, quarter mile times, similar, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, whatever. It's basically, it comes down to like a butt feel, like whatever people call it on forums, like how it feels. So I was just like, okay, they're both like similar if you quick. So I was like, all right, whatever. Then it came down to the corners, man, the suspension. Fell in love with the EVO suspension. That's what got me. The EVO suspension is so great. The super all-wheel drive system is awesome, man. I like I said in my previous video, I had an S2000 where I heavily modified the suspension, where I like neutral steering. So I'm not an oversteer guy. Oh yeah, it's fun, this and whatever. Nah, I don't want all that bullshit. I'm not a drifter. I want neutral, flat, neutral response steering. That's what I like. So when I got in this EVO, man, I was just like, wow, man, this thing handles well, and it's stock. So I was like, figure, you know, I've been going on the forums on both cars, EVO and STI. And, you know, with the EVO, man, people say changing the springs and the sway bar, man, you get a great response with those. So it just seemed like I had to do less amount of work and add a lot less amount of modifications to the suspension aspect of it compared to the STI. And I've been reading on the forums of people saying, like, with the STI, you know, you got to spend a lot more money just to get on par of the stock EVO suspension. So I was like, man, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to waste more money on suspension where I already have a car that gives me great suspension. So SCI, to me, you know, I didn't push it too hard, but to me, slight understeer. I just fell in love the way the EVO handled, man. So I was just like, okay, the shifter. So I never really drove a stock. Okay, I bought my car stock, but the guy modified it. He put back this OEM shifter. The shifter to me, I did not like on the EVO. STI was great, was good. So I was like, okay. And then, you know, what came down to me, like the room in the back, both back seats, both cars great. It came down to trunk space. Trunk space in the EVO sucks. I mean, it's barely there. I could barely fit crap back there. So STI beat that. So when I sat down and thought about it, I was like, which one do I want? Do I want one that performs suspension-wise really well? Do I want a car that looks a lot better, better shifter, feel good, more trunk space? And, you know, it took me a while to decide, but it always came down to how the EVO performed on the street, suspension-wise, in the corners. I just loved it. And also I fell in love with the seats, man. I love the Recaro seats. It's a great addition to the car. It's a shame that the 2015s don't come with them, but it was just, I loved it, man. I love the seats, and I just love the way it handled. So it really came down to how it handled, really. Oh wow, this guy is just so. And at the time when I was shopping around, STIs were a little bit more expensive than the EVOs. They're about $2,000, a little bit more expensive than an EVO, same year and same amount of mileage. So I was just like, man, I want to spend more money on a car. And just doing a lot of research. I know whatever, STIs have problems with their ringling problem, and I know everyone wants to switch over to the new motor. They're hoping for a new motor in the STI. So that's something else I did not want to deal with, man. I'm tired of motor problems. If a company cannot solve some motor problems, man, and I know most people get on, I guess with modification, so it could be in the tune. I'm not 100% sure. Haven't done super research on it. Modifications, or just people say the piston rings or whatever, it don't matter. But I just didn't want to run into a point where it's like, oh my god, I gotta worry about rebuilding the motor. Where that EVO motor can handle a decent amount of horsepower. It's the torque that kills the EVO motor. So, you know, people say you want to keep it below, really safely, you want to keep it at 350 wheel torque, but people say you want to keep it below 390, 380. Max 400, that's pushing it. So mostly about like keep it at about between 350 and 380 would be a safe bet. So you know, so I was just like, okay, you know, I could do that. I've been looking at people's mods, and you know, they were able to keep the torque down with, you know, a bigger turbo and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, you know, I could deal with 350 to 380 wheel torque, you know, and get a decent amount of horsepower. So I was like, all right, that's cool. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. Nothing. You know, I'm not here to bash no other car company. I see a lot of people, man, they like bashing and justifying their purchase. Man, yeah, I'm sitting here, I would love to own a STI, but I'm not gonna sit here and justify, oh yeah, this is why it's better. No, fuck that, man. I'm not the type of dude that wants to justify that purchase. I'm happy what I purchased. I purchased it because it's what I felt most comfortable in the car, the most, you know, I felt like whatever car I choose, I want to get the most enjoyment out of it. And I felt like I was going to get more enjoyment, less worries, in my opinion, with the Evo. So STI to me, great car. Love the way it looked. I like the new look. I mean, it's growing on me, but like I said, still is not as aggressive. But both cars are great, and it's sad to see that Evos are, you know, they discontinued the Evo 10. And, you know, I was reading a comment somewhere like, oh yeah, that's why, you know, people are like bashing Evos. It's like, yeah, that's why when an Evo owner says, you know, my car's better, and then the people say like, yeah, but Evo got discontinued. Huh, where are you guys at? Okay, great cars get discontinued, dude. They do. Great cars get discontinued. It's just, the Lancer can't, I think it was number 2 in sales, and the whole Mitsubishi line. Mitsubishi as a whole company wasn't doing well, so of course they're going to start discontinuing stuff and go a different direction. They got to do something to improve their company. They're not worried about the few thousands of people that are fans of certain cars. They are worried about making money, getting in business to make money, not to make a handful, a small, minute percentage of the world's population, make them happy just because the Evo's still around. They're not worried about that. So, you know, it to me is stupid for people to say, oh yeah, STI is a better car just because, oh yeah, Evo that got discontinued. A lot of great cars get discontinued, man. A lot of great cars. It comes down to money, where the direction of the company is going, a lot of things. So to me, you know, it's sad to see that the Evo 10 is gone, but hey, you know, that's life, that's business. And yeah, but that's about it, guys. That's all I really got to say about that. Reason why I chose the Evo over a STI. That's about it. So hopefully later today I'll be posting up that reaction video. Hopefully it came out well. So if it did, I'll post it up. If not, then oh well. I'll just keep it for my own records. But until next time, guys. Deuce out.